Hello and welcome to Chapter 3, Section 5. Today we are solving inequalities with variables on both sides. Remember, our goal is that all the variables go on one side and all the numbers go on the other side. And we've done this before with equations. Our job now is to make sure we can do it with inequalities. So, x is less than 3x plus 8. We're going to get all the x's on this side. We're going to leave this number right here. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. And we get negative 2x is less than 8. And we divide by negative 2. And so we have x, and we flip our inequality, and our answer is negative 4. 6x minus 1 is less than or equal to 3.5x plus 4. I want to get all of the variables on this side, so I have a positive x. So I'm going to subtract 3.5x from both sides so that that goes away. And here I have 2.5x. So I want to add 1 to get this gone. And this side has 5, and in the middle I just bring my inequality down. Divide each side by 2.5. And x is less than or equal to 2. Here I have to distribute the 6 to my 1 minus x, which gives me 6 minus 6x is less than 3x. I'm going to pull my x's over to this side, so I'm going to add 6x to both sides. And 6, that's 6, is less than 9x. I'm going to divide both sides by my 9, and I'm going to reduce my fraction to 2/3 is smaller than x. And they're going to ask us to graph these. 2, 4, negative 2, negative 4. X is greater than negative 4. I have an open circle and x is bigger. X is smaller than 2 or equal, so I can do a closed circle, and x is smaller than that. 2/3 is smaller than x. 2/3 is right about there, and it's an open circle, and x is larger than that, so our arrow is going to go this way. Our word problem for this section is comparing newspaper fees. This newspaper charges $650 plus $80 per week, so 80 times the number of weeks. And we want to know when this is less expensive than just charging $145 per week. So we are going to subtract 80 weeks from both sides. And we have 650 is smaller than 65W. And I'm going to divide each side by 65. And I have 10. So when an ad runs for more than 10 weeks, the daily info is less. But if it runs for shorter than that, then you send it to the other paper, the People's paper. Our next inequality, 1.6x, is smaller than or equal to negative 0.2x plus 0.9. I'm going to get all my x's on this side, so I'm going to add 0.2x to both sides. And I have 1.8x is smaller than or equal to 0.9, dividing both sides by 1.8. And I get x is smaller than or equal to 0.5. X plus 5 is larger than or equal to x plus 3. I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and my x's completely disappear, and I have 5 is greater than or equal to 3. Now, there aren't any variables left, and 5 is greater than 3. This is a true statement, which means anything you put in here for x will work. This makes it true for all real numbers. Here we have 2 times x plus 3 is less than 5 plus 2x. So I'm going to distribute my 2. 2x plus 6 is less than 5 plus 2x. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. And here, both of my 2x's disappear. And I end up with 6 is smaller than 5. And this is not true, which means there are no solutions. Nothing that you can put in for x will ever make this true. So if you end up with no more variables and the number part of the answer is true, then all the numbers work. And if the number part is false, then nothing's going to work. So I would like you to push pause and try check it out numbers 1 through 4. Check it out number 1, 4x is greater than or equal to 7x plus 6. I'm going to get all of my x's to this side, so I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides, and I end up with negative 3x is larger than or equal to 6. Divide each side by negative 3x, which means my inequality flips, and x is smaller than or equal to negative 2. 5t plus 1 is smaller than negative 2t minus 6. I'm going to put all my t's on this side, so I'm going to add 2t to both sides, giving me 7t, and I'm going to get rid of this 1, subtracting 1 from both sides, giving me negative 7. Divide each side by 7, and t is smaller than negative 1. When I graph these two, they cram together right above this next problem, so my negative 2 is here, and it's a solid one, and x is smaller than that. My negative 1 is here, and it's an open circle, and t is smaller than that. Our next problem, A+ Advertising charges $24 plus 10 cents per flyer to print and deliver flyers. Print and More just charges 25 cents per flyer, no flat fee. How many can I order and have A+ Advertising be less? So, I'm solving for less than. I'm going to get all my variables to one side, so I'm going to subtract 0.10f from both sides, giving me 24 on this side and 0.15f on this side, dividing each side by 0.15. So 160 is our breaking point, and as soon as f gets bigger than that, then Print and More is more expensive. Check it out, number 3. Here we have a multi-step problem. We have to distribute our 5 and distribute our 3. So we have 10 minus 5r is greater than or equal to 3r minus 6. I'm going to take my negative r's and I'm going to put them on this side. So I'm going to add 5r to both sides so that this is gone, which means I need to get rid of this 6, so I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So I end up with 16 equals 8r, and I divide each side by 8, and 2 is greater than or equal to r. So I've got a 2 on our number line, solid, and r is smaller than that. 0.5x minus 0.3 plus 1.9x is smaller than 0.3x plus 6. I'm going to combine my 0.5x and my 1.9x to make 2.4x and bring down my minus 3 is less than 0.3x plus 6. I'm going to pull my x's over to this side, subtracting 0.3x from both sides to give me 2.1x. So I'm going to get rid of my 0.3. I'm going to add that to both sides, giving me 6.3. So 2.1x is smaller than 6.3. I'm going to divide both sides by 2.1, and x is smaller than 3. Here I have an open circle at 3, and x is smaller than that. For 4a, I'm going to distribute my 4 to give me 4y minus 4 is greater than or equal to 4y plus 2. I'm going to subtract 4y from both sides, getting rid of all of my y's, which tells me that negative 4 is greater than or equal to 2. And that is not true, which means this is a no solution problem. Here, x minus 2 is less than x plus 1. I'm going to subtract x from both sides, getting rid of them, which leaves me with negative 2 is smaller than 1. That is true, which means I can put in all real numbers, and that will always be true. Your homework for this section starts on page 200. You're going to do numbers 27 to 51. And please, if you have any questions, please make sure you ask me. I'll see you tomorrow.